to the Lava Show. This is the show where you get to experience, if anybody knows where that is. For those who don't, Stornoway is the main town on the Isle of Lewis, in the Western Isles of Scotland, or the Outer Hebrides if you prefer. Very descriptive, and when you break them into chunks, it does make it a whole lot easier. This one's only in 3 chunks, so not like a So, relax, this is fine. So here we go, chunk number 1 is Ea, which means island. Second part is Fiatla, which means mountain. And the third part, Yuguk. The confidence level starting to dip a little bit there. If you are struggling with a weird sound on the end there, that sound, lift your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, blow air out through your cheeks, and spray everybody around you with spit. Well, we'll actually get you close, I'm not even kidding. Try it again. Yuguk. There you go, that's slightly better that side. It's the Daffy Duck convention down here. It was certainly a lot better than the, well, actually, let me try this. So let's do the whole thing. So that means glacier, right? So when you put the whole thing together, it's island, mountain, the glacier. So repeat after me. Ea. Fiatla. Yuguk. Very good. And on 3, the whole thing. 1, 2, 3. Ea, Fiatla, Yuguk. There you go. Ta-da! Round of applause. Pretty decent. The TV news people struggled with this endlessly. In a suit. It does look a bit daft, admittedly, but this is absolutely necessary for him to do his job. He is operating the furnace back there. Furnace which is currently running around about 1300 degrees Celsius, and he's the guy who has to stand right next to it and pour the lava out. And having done that, his next job is to go around the back of the furnace, open the door, and start hand shoveling in the hardened lava from the last show. That fully exposes them to the blast of heat that comes from that, and it is tremendous. I can tell you, so don't go bugging him later or anything. Yes. Don't worry about it, I'll protect you. Lava show. Just in case you weren't sure.
Iceland is one of the most active volcanic places on Earth, with a significant eruption every 3 to 5 years on average. There are more active volcanoes concentrated in Iceland than anywhere else on the planet. Have erupted since the settlement of Iceland over 1,000 years ago. There are 2 main reasons why Iceland has so much volcanic activity. 2 natural phenomena that can result in an extinction rate catastrophe. 1 is a large meteor hitting the Earth, similar to what happened 65 million years ago, leading to the demise of the dinosaurs. Thankfully, we have not been in any real danger from another apocalyptic meteor crash since then. However, the possibility still remains. The only other natural disaster that could create an apocalyptic catastrophe is a violent eruption of a so-called supervolcano. There are 6 known supervolcanoes on Earth, and Yellowstone in the US is undoubtedly the most famous one. Yellowstone last erupted 640,000 and been called tourist eruptions. But don't be fooled. Icelandic volcanoes can be very dangerous, even deadly. To better understand the most catastrophic volcanic eruptions in Icelandic history, let's go on a journey back in time to the year 870. This was when the Nordic Vikings decided to face the open sea in search of new land. They ventured further west than anyone had ever gone before. Days turned into weeks, and the vast ocean seemed endless. Just as they were about to lose all hope, the ravens opened their wings and flew away. That could only mean one thing. Land was near. On the horizon, white mountaintops appeared, resulting in the name of this new land, Iceland. As they sailed closer, They could see rocky hills covered with moss and birch trees. There were no people in sight, and it didn't take long for the Vikings to settle down and build their new homes. With time, people learned to live with harsh weather conditions and the dominating raw nature. Over the next decades, more settlers arrived that were welcomed with open arms. There was plenty of space for everyone, and for over 50 years, the settlers of Iceland had their own little ill-weathered paradise, all to themselves. But then, Mother Nature decided it was time to remind those newcomers that this remote island in the north was her domain. All hell broke loose in one of the most catastrophic eruptions in modern history. It was the Eldgjá eruption. Eldgjá means fire canyon, and no wonder. The earth was ripped apart in a 75-kilometer long fissure in what is still today the largest volcanic canyon on Earth. The Eldgjá eruption lasted for 4 years, and it produced the greatest amount of lava in historic time. The volume of lava covered more than 800 square kilometers of land, which is equivalent to New York City and its 5 boroughs being swallowed by lava. The Eldgjá eruption marked the end of an era where settlers came to Iceland. From there on, everyone was warned from setting sail to the hellish island of ice and fire. This was made immortal in a famous poem called Völuspá.
Sól tér sortna, sígur fold í mar, hverfa af himni heiðar stjörnur, geysar eimi við aldrun ara, leikur hár hiti við himinn sjálfan.
Now, let's go forward in time of more than 300 years, which takes us to the next Icelandic volcano catastrophe. The ice-capped stratovolcano in southeast Iceland, which also happens to be the highest peak on Icelandic soil, then went by the name Knappafellsjökull. The volcano was surrounded by fertile grazing lands, which supported at least 40 farms in the area, formerly known as Litla Hérað, or Little Shire. One day, out of the blue, the top of the volcano exploded in a massive eruption, bringing about a deadly pyroclastic flow made up of gas and volcanic ash of 1,000 degrees Celsius, traveling down the volcano at 700 kilometers an hour, killing every living being in the area. This eruption was such a devastating event that the whole surrounding area became a lifeless wasteland for years to come, which led to a new name of the volcano, Öræfajökull, the volcano of ruined wasteland. In the fall of 1783, the Lakagír eruption began. The Laki eruption consisted of a 25-kilometer long fissure lined with 130 craters. Although the eruption did not turn out to be quite as enormous as the Eldgjá eruption 700 years earlier, human societies had developed a lot since the 900s, and events of this scale were now recorded in much greater detail. Massive clouds of poisonous hydrofluoric acid and sulfur dioxide clouded the northern hemisphere for years. It caused a global drop in temperatures of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius and led to a devastating drop in quality of life in many areas of the world. Western Europe was particularly badly affected, which is why the Lakagír eruption is considered to be one of the fundamental reasons for the French Revolution taking place just a few years later.
Volcanic ash has caused the worst disruption in air travel since 9/11.
The infamous eruption in Eyjafjallajökull in 2010 is another eruption worth mentioning.
That's actually steam created by lava bursting up through the glacier.
It put Iceland in the spotlight big time. The massive ash plume that rose 20 kilometers into the atmosphere brought air traffic in Europe to a standstill for days on end. More than half the volcanoes in Iceland are covered by glaciers, and whenever lava gets in contact with ice, it results in violent explosions that fractures the lava into superfine particles that rise high into the air and can ignite the engines of airplanes. Not a risk you would like to take. After 800 years of sleep, with no volcanic activity, the Reykjanes Peninsula has awakened yet again. It all began with the eruption in Fagradalsfjall in 2021, in what became the most closely followed volcano eruption of all time. The Fagradalsfjall volcano system, which is situated only 30 kilometers from the capital area and only 15 kilometers from Keflavik International Airport, had been dormant for 6,000 years when it first erupted in 2021, beginning what geologists call a new era in Icelandic volcano history. But the Fagradalsfjall volcano system is only one of 5 volcano systems on the Reykjanes Peninsula. These are the volcano systems responsible for all the lava in and around the capital area. And now that the Reykjanes Peninsula seems to have awoken from its centuries-long slumber, there is a real possibility that the capital area could be in danger in near future. It has been almost 5,000 years since lava last flowed in Reykjavik. Well, that's until now.
Da da da. All right, folks, if you put your safety glasses on now, please. material down there, still very, very liquid indeed, underneath where that nice crust had been. Alright, now if I come around here, as you hear Mario shoveling away in the background there. So if you look up here, you see these beautiful ripples on the surface of the lava there. There's actually a technical name for this. They call it ropey texture, or ropey pahoihoi. And you'll find it anywhere in nature where there's been fluid lava like this. And as that lava begins to cool on the surface, it starts to thicken and harden, but the hotter lava underneath just keeps on flowing, and that drags the surface along behind it. And then eventually, when the surface fully cools, the ripples will just get locked in place. So you can see the direction that the lava was flowing in. And there's many good, just fantastic examples of this all around the country, but one particularly nice one that I've seen is at Thingvellir National Park. If you stand at the lookout hole under there, and gently does it, I can actually pry this up and form a kind of bridge out of the lava. I can even pop a hole in the back of it here and rip some of that lava out. And that can allow a little bit of the liquid lava that's still inside there to flow out. And if we're lucky, we might get a little lava tunnel to form in there. Don't always get that, but we do sometimes, so I'll check on that in a little while and see if we manage to get one. Okay, now, one thing I am going to do at this point is I'm actually going to begin clipping some safety guards on the top part of the slide here. And I'll explain why I'm doing that as I'm doing it. But we'll start with this little one down here. So I'm just going to clip these on here. Now the reason we do this is that it all starts to cool down again, and all begins to contract, and when that happens, the lava on top of the slide gets to be under quite a bit of pressure. And just like in nature, that pressure is going to be released through cracking. So we get cracks, pops, and bangs happening up on the slide here. You can hear it happening already, in fact. So that's why this goes on. I'll try and get this last one up here. This is the fiddly one. There we go. And bam. There we go. This is actually being done for the benefit of one individual in this room, and that is me. There's this one there. Oof. By the way, just nice. So let's stick this one in here. There we go. Wow. There's a genuine lava lamp for you there. Yeah. Boo. I told you I was a primary school teacher. The jokes aren't going to get any better, I'm afraid. Alright. So that's rather unscientific, but let's kind of science this up a little bit here. I've got one of these infrared thermometer guns here, so let's just grab this and see what's actually happening here with the temperature. So down here, where I had the ice, surface temperature there, 493 Celsius, that's 920 Fahrenheit. But if I get through that crust, I'll see if I can actually break through this. Yeah, here we go. Into the material underneath that. Do the same thing again there, or at least inside there. Yeah, that's 747 Celsius underneath that. So you can see, you don't actually have to go far down into the lava at all to get a pretty significant jump in temperature. And this is actually a really important point, because we do see a lot of people coming to Iceland and doing some fairly questionable things. All right, now let's break into some of this material here. So just get through this. Give us a few cracks here. And I'll just grab my pole, my tongs. There we go. There we go, some medium rare lava there. Just the way I like it. Bring that around so you can all see. In fact, anybody want a souvenir? Yeah, cash. Don't do that. But that red glow that you're seeing from the lava, you're only going to get that red glow if the lava is still over 600 degrees Celsius. Once the temperature dips down below that, it's not able to keep releasing that energy as light anymore, and so we'll just continue releasing it as heat from that point on. And the outer parts will cool quite quickly. I mean, you can see there that the piece that I just broken took out to show you is already cooled down almost entirely to black on the surface there. But of course inside the block, if I was to break it open again, it will still be glowing on the inside. But that effect that I'm showing you, that's how you'll get lava tunnels forming. Oh, you see we've got a little kind of ash twister going on there, did you see that? I've seen that a couple of times. That's pretty cool. Huh. Alright. Anyway, onwards. Yeah, so lava tunnels will form in much the same way. We've actually got one there. Can you see that little kind of baby lava tunnel there? It's going to be a devil of a job bringing this around to show the people on this side, but we'll try. There you go. You see a little kind of baby lava tunnel there? So that just happened because of the way that I opened up the back of the stream and let some of the lava out. But the same thing will happen in nature. When you've got a flow of lava like this, it's glass. It's volcanic glass. Let's be specific here. It's not just ordinary window glass. So I told you at the beginning of the show that this is basalt. So how come it looks like this? What's all this made of? Well, here's the thing. In order for solid rock to form, like the basalt columns and the kind of bubbly lava rocks you see around, lava needs a little bit of time to cool down. And that's actually something that our life, and it will be for quite some time actually. If I left that pool just sitting as it is right now, didn't touch it any further, the amount that's gathering in there, because it's kind of bulging up, it can affect the elevation of the ground above it. So they have GPS sensors on the surface, and they can measure the ground deformation, sometimes be a couple of centimeters, depending on the system. And if they know based on previous eruptions how much was necessary to make that erupt, that will give them a good kind of ballpark idea of how much is in there, and, when it's about ready to go. And then after that, so yeah, mileage may vary with that. But actually, we're actually in this situation right now where we're expecting exactly this to happen. So the system that's been erupting down by the Blue Lagoon and the power plant there, that's actually primed and ready to go off again. So we've had 7 eruptions there the last year and a bit, and we're expecting number 8, honestly, any day now. It might happen while you're here. You might be fortunate enough to actually see that. Because they know how much that magma chamber can hold. And they've been measuring it, and it's now reached the kind of lower limit necessary for it to erupt. So yeah, basically any time from now, in the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks, we're expecting it to go off again. So watch this space. Yeah, follow-up question, I think, yeah. Okay, see that? It would probably be by sea, because there's only really 2 roads in or out of the city, so most likely it would be that. Material that we're melting down, this stuff here, we get it from down on the south coast, near the town of Peak, and we take it from there because we have this family connection with the volcano Katla. It last erupted in 1918, and actually the founder of Lava Show, Julius, his great-grandfather was nearly killed. Oh, nice one. Yeah, it's lovely, it's smooth and surface, but that glass can be very, very sharp. So.
Oh wow, it's heavy.
This one is just like... Oh, it's mine. Oh,
Yeah.
is it?